welcome to our time. He always wanted to work in TV and be a TV cameraman, and as a boy, designed TV studios. Now, he's one of the people who decides what you see on sports and variety TV shows. And he's here to explain. Hello, Guy James.
Hello, Malcolm. Good to be with you.
Good to... Look, you've been talking to too many politicians. Doesn't that drive you nuts when they all say, hello, good to be with you? They're not that happy
Well,
at
it is.
all.
It's great to see you. It's great to be here.
Well, it is. Now, and coming clean...
Yeah.
I've known you since you were 7 years old.
Yes. Only about 10, 15 years?
Well, I was only 3 at the time.
Okay.
But I've got some photos of you and your mum, and this will explain the rest of what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Because you and your mum, after you were born, made the actual cover of the TV magazines that we had.
So no one knows who Mum is at the moment, do they?
No, it doesn't matter. It's not about her, it's about you.
And there she is.
And there she is with your dad.
Yeah.
And that's you just after you were born. But can you see that TV Week, Australia's leading television magazine? It actually said on the cover.
I'd never seen that before. So
really?
Yeah.
So you could really say you were born into TV because your mother is...
Dee Dee James, yeah.
Don't you call her Mum?
I do.
Oh, okay. And your dad also worked in the theatre as a dresser, but he was actually in insurance.
While Mum was working nights, dancing, because back in those days, the Channel 9 Ballet were full-time members of staff. So they would do 5 shows a week, like we would work 5 shifts a week. Yeah. So while Mum's doing that, and Mum and Dad are raising a family and madly saving for a house, Dad, who worked in insurance during the day, was a dresser at Her Majesty's Theatre at night.
And he dressed some amazing people.
Oh, Harry H. Corbett from Steptoe and Son, Rudolph Nureyev.
Yes. There are a lot of interesting stories he told.
Yeah, well, we haven't got time.
No, I don't think we can tell them either.
No, we can't. Yeah.
This is actually you at a rehearsal, at a dance rehearsal, watching your mum, who's bending down looking at you. And she tells me that when you were a little bit older, she gave you some drumsticks and you happily tapped along.
I can still remember being at the Finsbury Hotel when Mum would do floor shows. So Channel 9, the ballet would do variety shows, do the dancing and the performances, but they would also work in nightclubs and pubs and hotels as well. So it was a great promotional.
A big scene, wasn't it?
Oh, it was huge. It was huge. And I remember, I can't tell you how old I was, but being at the Finsbury Hotel, but Mum was incredible.
You were about 3 or 4, I think.
Was I?
Yeah.
Well, Mum was
I'd just
5...
been born at the time, same day.
Mum was 5 months pregnant with me when she stopped working on Adelaide Tonight.
No one could believe that.
And then I was 6 weeks old when she rejoined the ballet, and people couldn't tell that she'd had a baby 6 weeks ago.
Dee Dee was really a household name here in South Australia, your mum.
Yes. Oh, we're so proud of her. We love her to death. She's
But the thing
amazing.
is, talking about show business parents and their kids going into show business, because that's a sort of a common thing that people do talk about. They hope their kids will either go into the business or in fact stay well away from it if they haven't had a good run.
Yeah, I was lucky, blessed to be born into such a family. School holidays, I was always in a television studio with Mum, or in a theatre that either you were performing at or Mum was at or whatever. So, yeah, I was really lucky to be given that insight at such a young age and to see what was out there. And it was like Hollywood to me.
Well, it was Hollywood.
Yeah.
Here in South Australia at Channel 9, which we both worked at, you'd walk down the corridor and there'd be people from literally all over the world because they'd be there for the Tonight shows.
Yes.
So there'd be rehearsals or we'd be recording or whatever. We've got some more shots here of you with your mum. How old do you think you'd be there? Very toothy and happy and smiley.
Probably 20, 21. I haven't seen that before
your mother's
either.
Mouth. Look at that, the big smile.
Yeah.
And there's another shot here of you with some of the dancers. There's Tom Fairley, who people know, Margie in the middle.
Yeah, that's
that's Carol at the end and your mum on the...
1991. John Lamb, who owned Channel 9 at the time, was involved with a lot of charities around Adelaide and was chairman of various boards. And he had a recreation of Adelaide Tonight where Kevin Crease and Lionel Williams hosted the show like they did back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah, and they got the old ballet girls back together, as you can see there, and And I worked on that show as well. And
You weren't dancing though?
No.
Because your mum, those years, was desperately trying to get you into
Yes,
the performing side.
I was very happy being behind the camera and in a control room and not sitting where I am now.
Has anyone done an interview with you before?
Never. No, this is my first time
On TV?
being here.
Instead of being behind first the camera.
Yes.
And then, of course, now you're travelling
Directing.
everywhere. Directing.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember I first started at Channel 9 when I was 15 as a casual.
Yep.
My first day, I was on the Miss South Australian Beach Girl quest. So every Saturday we'd do a summer...
Tough start.
I'd be outside broadcast at Glenelg. So I'm surrounded by 20-year-old women, because I'm just a kid, in bikinis. The next day...
You were in bikinis?
No, I wasn't. They were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the next day we had a shoot in the Adelaide Hills. But as we're coming back, where Channel 9 used to be in Tyn Street, North Adelaide, on a Sunday we used to do a show called Rock on Sunday, hosted by David Day. And the Bay City Rollers were in at Channel 9 that day. So as you know how big Tyn Street is, packed with screaming teenage girls. And I'm thinking, I had girls in bikinis yesterday, I got these teenagers here. I want to work at Channel 9 forever. You know, it was magnificent, and I pretty much did.
But in those days, there weren't the opportunities like the people out here have got in the uni.
No.
To learn the craft first. You actually started as...
office boy, props boy, you know, sweeping floors, holding idiot sheets for Ernie Sigley and for his opening monologue or his opening song on the Ernie Sigley show. Yeah, so it was, you know, moving scenery in commercial breaks, cable tracking for the cameras. But I just loved it. I just loved it and couldn't get enough of it. I think we all loved it, Guy. It was, and it still is for me, it's there's something about this that just draws you in, and you're on the other side, though, doing the opposite. And what it's really hard for us to sort of understand is that we know these images are going just out there in the air, and we don't get to see them. Well, now we do, but back in those days we didn't get to see anything. Live television, no one had recorders, video recorders or VCRs or, you know, hard drives that they've got at home now. Yeah.
Or streaming.
Streaming, exactly, yeah. So
when it went out, and that was the end.
And that was it.
It was really like doing live shows. I mean, live shows on stage sort of thing, because it's only ever going to happen that way once.
And back in the day, videotape was very expensive. So once you've recorded a show or a football match or whatever it was, once that's been played and gone to air, they'd put it on the bulk eraser so they could use it again.
Well, and that's why there's so little of Here's Humphrey available, because once we would record it in Adelaide and then it would do the tour around the country, the videotapes would come back and, as you said, bulk eraser, we'd do it all again.
But every program, whether it be Adelaide Today or as a Here's Humphrey, Curiosity Show, even sporting events, there's a lot of magnificent close finishes to games that are lost forever. Some of them are because of the cost of videotape and having to reuse it.
When you think, though, back in those days, news, for example, news was shot by newsies who would go out with their cine cameras.
Yes.
We used to shoot a lot with a woman called Pat, the only female cinematographer in Adelaide at the time.
Yes.
Then they'd have to rush to get their film developed, then they'd have to rush to get it back to the studio to put to air sort of live. All of those days, of course, have now gone because everything's so digital and easy to do.
Yes, well, back in the film days, if you hadn't shot your news story by 2 o'clock in the afternoon...
It wasn't news.
It wasn't going to go to air because it had to get to the film processors at Collinswood, then come back for editing and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, time was of the essence. But today, they can cross to anywhere in the world at any time they want to.
It's amazing.
It is. It's incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That must be difficult for you as a director, though, because you've got all these different feeds coming in from literally everywhere.
Yeah, it's exciting. So working in the Channel 9 newsroom, I left Channel 9 2.5, nearly 3 years ago. A very dynamic and energetic place because you could do whatever you want virtually at any time. Or it could be...
In the sense of pulling in vision.
Certainly, yeah. Or it could be a quiet news day and then all of a sudden something happens and all that day's work is... Not all of it's out the window, but your entire first segment can change in a flash.
In a flash.
And that's what makes it such a great industry to work in, that adrenaline rush, that real buzz, yeah.
We're going to have a look at some of you in different positions in different jobs all around Australia. Because from Adelaide, from Channel 9 in Adelaide, you also moved up to Sydney, didn't you?
Yeah, in 1984, I just felt I needed to learn more.
And hold that thought, because we're going to learn more about you, and we're going to come back and talk to Guy in just a few moments. Get yourself nice until we come.
Not all of it's out the window, but your entire first segment can.
And welcome back to Our Time. Guy James is my special guest in this program, and we're talking about all things TV, because you were born into TV, so to speak.
Yes.
Your first job was in TV?
Yes.
And then from working in Adelaide, you then moved up to Sydney for another bigger time.
Yes.
Because you're working with the Nine Network initially.
That's right, yeah. So a friend of mine, Peter Scott, worked at Channel 10 in Sydney and always encouraged me to get up there. The fact they had the same cameras as what Channel 9 in Adelaide did, the Marconi cameras, very familiar, so I thought I'll do that. And I was so lucky. When I got there, I landed virtually immediately onto the Perfect Match show.
Did you get a date?
No, well, I wasn't looking. With Greg Evans, and another show that he hosted at that time called Star Search. And it was at the peak of Greg's television career where, so that was very exciting times.
Really the peak of live TV, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
mean, there was
probably.
so much going on,
Yeah.
Of Australian TV, probably.
Yes, yeah. The Don Lane show, of course, was just one of my all-time favourites to watch. Never was lucky enough to work on it. But, so working in Sydney during the 80s was just great fun, and I learned so much. And I guess homesickness brought me back home.
It does seem to, for most people, you either come back home because your parents are ageing or...
Yeah.
That wasn't in your case.
Well, Star Search got axed after 1986. Perfect Match, they moved production to Melbourne. So I was doing the rugby league. We were doing 2 games a week. But then I was offered the job as senior cameraman back at Channel 9 in Adelaide, and the promise to be made the next director, which... They kept their promise. Yeah, so I've been a director since 1991.
Amazing. We got some shots of you in different sort of places, and here's one. Oh, there's Bill Collins.
Bill Collins, so that's from Channel 10 in Sydney.
And you're literally in the middle with the towers of hair.
On camera 2, yeah. They're the Marconi cameras I was talking about. Yeah, great times. Bill was a very generous man. He was magnificent to work with.
In retrospect,
and was so passionate about his movies, and his crew.
Well, there's a bit of passion going on here behind
that was
you.
Late night shoot. That's John the Beast. Now he's the one on the right, if you can tell John the Beast.
Yes, you can.
He was an Adelaide musician, and we shot a film clip for one of his songs in a junkyard, in a car wrecker's yard. So, and that's the difference in Sydney. Look how many crew we've got working on a 1-camera shoot.
Yes,
right.
You're the only cameraman. I just
where in Adelaide would budgets and all that sort of thing. So it'd be only 1 or 2 compared to that.
Well, you're dealing with the whole country rather than just a single state.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
No, there's the perfect shot.
Oh, that's Football Park. So that must be 1989, perhaps 89, 90. Yeah.
That permanent smile that you've always had because you're so happy with what you were doing.
I'm blessed. I'm lucky to work with the people I've worked with at the TV stations I've worked at. I've been that lucky. Yeah, it's been great times.
Here's another one with my friend and yours.
Yes. Humphrey Bear, yeah. Always a lot of fun working on that show. I was pretty proud of that show because I started as the props boy.
Yes.
And holding all the cue cards or idiot sheets for, the words to songs.
Well, for me.
To then a cameraman on it and then directing the show for a good 5 or 6 years. Yeah, that was a great show to work on because of great people.
Well, but you're making something real all the time. That's the thing.
Yeah, just great crew. I never felt like I worked hard a day in my life, only because I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
My hobby was my career that I was paid to do, so I was lucky. The old Adelaide Oval before the redevelopment, yeah. So I used to tour around with the Nine Network doing every test match and one day international as a cameraman. So in Melbourne I'd be in Bay 13, or in Sydney I'm in front of the hill. So yeah, there's a very different clientele at a cricket match compared to, after a few adult beverages.
Yes.
They're,
Rowdy. But You've been lucky enough to go through really all the stages of TV up to now.
Yeah, seeing it change so much.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And where we used to rely on the main channels here in Australia to give us everything.
Yes.
Now the streaming and binging and so on has just changed everything.
All the multi-channels that, like, say the Nine Network as an example, have got the main HD channel. They've got, channel Gem. They've got Go. So for each...
And the ABC's got a...
Yeah, Seven have as well. So there's probably more work in the freelance world of television now.
Which is where you are.
Which is where I am. Yeah. And that's, yeah.
So where are you?
Okay,
just
so I'm
drop a few, I did this.
Well,
sorry, before you drop, it's because probably, but people at home don't realise somebody's sitting here pressing buttons as to decide which shot to take, that one now, and now this one on Guy. Is he listening? Any moment you're going to see he's going to press the button any minute. And
yeah,
you go.
That's the director's role.
Yes.
I think Brenton Raglis from Channel 9, the newsreader, a great mate of mine, he probably summed it up the best, that as a television director, you're like an orchestra conductor.
Yes.
So while you've got, strings and woodwind and brass and percussion to coordinate and look after, a director's looking after the various departments of a television show, whether it be, lighting or cameras or audio, the sound, whatever it is. You're keeping everybody on the same page so we all know what we're doing next and all that sort of thing.
But also you've got to listen and watch carefully because you've got all these monitors in front of you and you've got to decide which is the most important shot to get.
So I'm thinking ahead, not just what's on air, where am I going next? And we're storytellers. So it's what's happening off the ball or what's happening during the show, whatever I'm working on.
Sport must be difficult.
Well, I think that's reality TV. That's the real reality TV to me. You don't know what's going to happen
editing,
next.
Of course.
Yes. You're listening to commentators. If they're talking about Malcolm Haslett, we need to get a camera onto Malcolm Haslett, or show a replay of Malcolm taking a fantastic catch or a fantastic mark. So whoever the player is that they're talking about or whatever, I've got to support the commentators and show the viewers at home who they're talking about and the incident that they're talking to or referring to.
But it's really a bit like that, isn't it? Because you've got to listen to them, they've got to watch you and watch the game at the same time, and sort of everyone's got to work together as a proper team.
Yes.
But you're sitting at the top saying this, go, sort of thing.
The way I direct is that I'm sitting at home.
You're very funny. Everybody loves you directing.
Well, do they?
Because you're very funny. You say funny things.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you've got to have light and shade. If it's a long, hot day doing cricket where it can be slow,
that's the light part.
You don't need to be, onto the crew all the time to get me this, get me that. So where there's light and shade in a sporting event or a television show, I try and match that with how I directed during the day.
See, that's interesting. Do you think you inherited something from those early days?
Yeah, I learned so much. Just when I talked to Mum, for example, who was a dancer forever and a choreographer.
And a performer and a TV
actor,
host
exactly.
Just about everything.
So just when I talk with her, like, for example, we'll talk about... let's say Carols by Candlelight for an example, and where we'll have a ballet on supporting a singer. She talks about how cameramen and some directors want to be so clever and arty, but they're not telling the story of what the choreographer's trying to get across.
Yeah, exactly.
So I learnt so much from her. Even when you and I talk about various shows over, since I was 7, I've learned a lot from you.
I loved it. You used to go into your room and you'd disappear after dinner. You go into your room, where's Guy? Oh, he's drawing up TV studios. You had the cameras here and then they were going to move there and then they were going to move there.
Well,
just amazing, really.
Well, it was my hobby. So what size studios would be needed for how big a show?
Yes.
How many cameras would be needed?
But you
what
were
lenses
7
they
when
would
you
need?
started this.
Oh, yeah. Well.
You were.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a nutcase. Yeah. Well, I'm so grateful. My hobby is my career.
Isn't that a joy in life?
Yeah.
Isn't that one of the best things?
I'm so lucky.
What's been, do you think, for you? What's been the most challenge for you? Do you think?
The most challenging part was probably when Channel 9 moved to Pirie Street. And
this is here in Adelaide.
Yeah. And we went to a system called Mossart. So instead of directing behind a large vision mixer with lots of buttons and faders, we went to a computer keyboard, and that was challenging to start, very challenging, and to be perfectly honest, I struggled with that a bit. My first love was always live TV and covering live sport. Yep. So when the time came...
Well, and live news too, when you could press the
live news, just some amazing events happened at that time. So I'm kind of wired a bit differently to the skills required.
Accepting you're wired correctly for sport that you're doing now so much of.
Yeah,
and things like Carol's Bike. So you're still getting a chance to do variety in something like that.
Yeah, Carol's Bike Candlelight.
That's here in Adelaide.
Yes,
Adelaide.
That's magnificent to do. Loved working at Channel 9, but I felt like I just wanted to get back to my first love before I gave it away. Yep. That was all.
We haven't given it away completely yet.
No, not at all. No, not at all. Directing a lot of football and cricket, basketball, did a lot of netball,
And how many frequent flyer points have you made? But don't tell us now, because we'll be back in a moment and we'll talk about that then. See you in a tick. Still getting a chance to do variety. And welcome back. My guest is Guy James, Director Extraordinaire of TV programs, sports and everything else, who's been flying forever in the last 3 years everywhere, haven't you?
Yes.
Are you ever home?
Occasionally, yeah, just enough to mow the lawns again and then head off.
Oh, it's always good to keep a marriage together that way.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're just joking about frequent flyer points, but the point is going away from home, working away from home like this, you're in a strange hotel, motel, wherever you're staying. Is it lonely doing this?
Yeah, it can get lonely. It's like...
Because you've got a lot of weight on your shoulders when you turn up for work, so to speak. You've got to really perform.
I worked with Colin Hay from Men at Work once, and he said to me, it's crazy, you do a concert and your energy's up, the crowd is going wild, they're loving you. Two security guys take you back to your hotel room, and then it's silence.
Then you're by yourself.
And and it's hard. So I'm not comparing myself by any means to that sort of level, but when you're continually thinking and talking throughout the whole event, and you're wired, and you're
adrenaline's
on
pumping.
song. Yeah, adrenaline's pumping.
You're actually much closer than you realise, I think, because you are actually in control of them, the crowd, and everything. When you think about it,
yes,
you're really the puppet master for the entire thing.
Well, yeah. It's when I get back to the hotel room, I'll watch back what we've just done because I just want to keep learning, keep getting better.
Yeah, it's the only way.
Yeah, I like what I did there. No, I wasn't happy with that, and we can fix that tomorrow or whatever. Yep. So I always watch back what I direct. Yeah.
Do you know, I think that's the best advice. A lot of people don't want to watch themselves back. Actors don't want to watch themselves back.
Yes.
But you don't really learn what you need to know.
No, exactly. You know? Exactly right. Yep.
And you do need to challenge yourself to be better, always.
Oh, you do. Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the best advice you've ever been given, do you think?
Well, Graham Press, who's our musical director on Carol's by Candlelight, I asked him once, how do you cope with the workload of doing a big show tonight and then in a couple of days' time you're in Sydney doing another show? How do you manage that workload and how do you focus? His advice to me was, be where your feet are. So, in other words, if you're doing Carol's by Candlelight tonight, forget the fact that you've got a cricket match coming up in a couple of days' time or, you're off doing something somewhere else. Just have all your attention where you are.
It's true.
It's very true.
I mean, that's the skill of being a good actor. You just, it's just, okay, I'm walking on, or I'm in front of the camera, I'm walking onto a stage, and that's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, you've got a lot of prep work that you've had to put in before you get to the next event and the event after that, but you've got to really try and isolate your thinking to just what you're doing now, just be where your feet are.
I think that's why I love doing this, actually, because that's exactly what this is like.
Sure.
Because there's no notes. It's just I listen to the conversation.
Yeah,
and we work off the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what do you want to do when you grow up?
When I grow up, yeah, wow. Yeah, well, I don't want to retire just yet. Sorry, Amanda, my wife, if she's watching. No, I just love doing what I'm doing and just want to keep getting better, yeah.
What do you mean, if she's watching? What do you mean, if she's watching? Your mother said, I want to let everybody know that he's on because nobody's ever seen him talk about himself before.
No, well, I don't like to often, but yeah.
No, but it is. You're the man behind the show, and that's, you know...
I'm only as good as the crew around me. The cameramen have got to be there with the shots at the right time.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely right. But at the same time, you've got to have the vision and know how to make it happen. Talking of vision, it's time for our vision to say goodbye. Thank you, Guy. It's just been lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, until next time on Our Time, keep yourself nice till then. Bye. No, but it is. You're the... And that's...
Cameramen have got to be there with the shots.
Yeah, absolutely right. But at the same time, you've got to have the vision to make it happen. Talking of vision, it's time for... Thank you, Guy. It's just been lovely talking to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, until next time on Our Time...